Yo, what up? Welcome to Unmastered the podcast, where I get to chat with the contributors to the culture that we love, the culture that we live for, the hip hop culture. I'm your host, Atinda Zimbando, and the podcast is Unmastered. And today I host, I don't know if I should call him the King of Shebeen Rap or there's another king, or I think you'll clarify later. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Do Major. Hey man, introduce yourself.
Yo, grateful to be featured on this show. Yeah, this your boy Dome Major, the Shebeen rapper, the king of the Shebeens, as Tatenda called me. Thank you for having me, man.
All right. So you clarified you are the king of Shebeen rap. Quite exciting. So who is Do Major? What do you do? You are a rapper, obviously, but in your own words, what do you do? Who are you? And since Shebeen rap defines you mostly as an artist, you can maybe take us a bit into that. Like, what is Shebeen rap and what is it about? What does it entail? And infusing that with what you do as an artist or as a person.
Yo, Dome Major is a simple, fun character that also turns out to be a rapper. Yes, and as you said, it's kind of hard to separate Dome Major from Shebeen rap. What Shebeen rap is a Shebeen. Let's start with the term Shebeen. Shebeen is a place where people gather, right? There are places where people gather to consume alcohol. There are clubs, there are bars, but there are Shebeens. Shebeens were illegal places where people would go to buy alcohol illegally and gather there and tell their stories. It would be ridiculously cheap. So everybody who couldn't afford to be in the other places that people would go to drink and smoke would go to the Shebeens. So it turned out to be more than just a beer gatherer. It turned out to be somewhere that actually people go to bond, people go to share their family lives, and people actually became family. You know, the bartender knows everybody there, everybody knows everybody there. So Shebeen rap is a form of storytelling, and there's always characters in a Shebeen. There's the liars, there's the prostitutes, there's the funny guys, there's the people's lover, yeah, and the violent people. And Domage is the funny, charismatic storyteller in a Shebeen, the king of the Shebeen, the person that you go to the Shebeen to see. That's me. And the music that I do is Shebeen rap.
That was a very insightful piece of information. Thank you, man, for the enlightenment. I might have never really figured out that on my own. And now, there's something interesting that you mentioned about it, the Shebeens becoming places where people bond and all that. And I've seen that aspect in your music. It's usually playful, it's usually colorful and joyful. It's all about getting people together, and I really like that about your music. You're less about talking about yourself and more about talking about the things that are actually happening and people things that people can actually relate to. Now, if I didn't ask this question during this interview, this should be a crime. I want to know Do Major. Do Major is a very interesting name, or interesting stage name, or alter ego. How did that come to be? How did you come to be known as Do Major? I want to know that, and I'm sure somebody somewhere out there really wants to know too. Why Do Major?
I was kind of expecting that question. Yeah, the thing about Do Major is it's a metamorphosis. Um, I started rapping at a very, very young age. So back in high school, people used to call me Dollar because somebody thought I looked like the late Dollar Bill. There was a nigga called Dollar Bill. I didn't even know him then, but people called me Dollar. And then someone else likened me to Slim Major. If you remember this American Southern rapper called Slim Major. So some people used to call me Slim Major, some people used to call me Dollar. And so I grew into the biggest possible name that could come from both names. When I got to Form 4, I realized, hey, I'm gonna be in the studio. What am I gonna call myself? Am I gonna call myself Dollar Major? Am I gonna call myself Slim Major? Slim Major is already there. Dollar is already there. What am I gonna do? That's how I became Do Major. It was simply fusing the names that I grew up with. and making the best name out of them.
Bro, that's easily one of the best stories I've ever heard about a rapper choosing their stage name or their alter ego or their, I don't know, like it's so dope, man. The evolution and the whole self-actualization and being intentional about the whole name thing. That's so dope, man. I'll never look at Dope Major the same way. I thought you just thought of it because it sounded cool, Dope Major. But now I realize there's actually a story behind it, which is actually dope, man. Now, I'm a person, take me as a person who has no idea what your music catalog is, and I want recommendations to what you think are some of your best moments, and maybe you can just take us through from the first moment you release a professionally recorded project, maybe a single, maybe an EP or an album, to this very moment. What are some of the projects that you've dropped, and what are some of your favorites? Personally, my favorite has to be Shanti Daiwewe. I love that song, man. You outdid yourself. Like wow. Like so, take us through that journey.
Well, I've been rapping since I was maybe 7, so there's a lot of music in between. But my first tape, Shebeen Rap Papa EP. Yeah, that's very significant in my life because it gave me direction. And I would have to say shout out to the producer Joker. He structured the whole sound, the drums, how it sounds. Also led us to, the discovery of the whole thing. We wouldn't have discovered that sound without Joaquim. He's now in China. He's gonna come back soon. He's part of I think he has like 4 tracks in my upcoming album. So yeah, he's very significant. Also, one of the significant events in my career was the House of Hip Hop that I did with R.Peels back in the day, and that was way back before everybody even knew me. Some of the people knew the music, and some of the people knew the artist, but nobody really connected the music and the artist. And when I worked with R.Peels, even that recognition from R.Peels as a rapper, it helped me a lot, because a lot of people started recognizing me as an artist as well. So that was very eventful. That show that we had, the House of Hip Hop. I'm hoping that we can do that again. And then one of my favorite tracks is
You don't remember your favorite track?
is the maybe, yeah, I guess it has to be Uchandidayo, because it was very simple to create, which is scary. I usually write my song in 3 or 4 days, even though they sound simple. Like, I take my time with it because I don't wanna rap, I wanna flow. Do you remember back in high school when somebody would be said, "Oh, this guy is good at flowing," because a line is supposed to go into another line without any. You should feel that this is smooth, the way that every line intercedes every line. So that's what I want to do when I rap. I want my lines to flow. So it's kind of, it's not that easy. But Uchandidayo, I literally just heard the beat, and then I just thought, what? This beat sounds like that Trey Songz song. You're gonna love me tonight. But then I listened to the beat and I'm like, they're so different. Where the hell did I get that idea? That's why when I started the song, I'm like, you're gonna love me tonight. So I just translated that, "you're gonna love me tonight," to Shantidayo. And then everything else just came instantly. I think it literally took me like about 30 minutes to make that song, make it recorded. Yeah, so I guess that makes it my favorite song, because simplicity is key, is it?
Wow, man, you've come a long way, man. I know it'll pay off. It'll pay off, and it is starting to pay off, man. You deserve the credit for the work that you've been putting in, and then the co-signs from people like R.Peels can really mean a lot in an industry like Zim Hip Hop, because he's got the street cred. I mean, he's been doing this for a long time now. He's been putting in the work over time. And the thing that you were saying about Uchani Daiwewe, I believe that's one of it's actually my favorite song. I think I said that before from you. Me and my boys would be like, we'll be bumping that. I think I told you that before. We were bumping that track when it came out like crazy, man. and it's timeless because it's so simple. It catches up to the heart. But then the simplest thing these days are not like the easiest thing. These are things that actually catch up. Um, they stay in your heart. That's what makes Shandawa a masterpiece. Now, before we talk about the album, the upcoming album, why not talk about numbers? I don't know if I would be wrong to say that you haven't really hit that point. I think I say this a lot because I try to avoid saying that you haven't blown up or you're not yet in the mainstream. I try to say that you haven't really hit in that point. Maybe that you are headed to really doing the numbers like some of the rappers that are doing numbers in the Zimi Pop fraternity. How do you feel about the work that you've put in and the amount of time and patience that you've given this craft and the appreciation that you've got? Are you about the numbers? Are you about the 20,000 monthly listeners on Spotify or the 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers on YouTube? Are you about that? And if you're not, like, how do you balance the work that you put in and the numbers that are coming out and the revenue that is coming from the music? How do you balance that, and how do you stay so focused maybe before you like hit the point that you say, no, I think I've made it in this music thing?
I'm grateful that you and your homies are bumping to Chanti Diver. I'm still at that stage where I appreciate each and everyone who checks out my music, and I hope I'm gonna be at that stage forever, because it means a lot to me when somebody just goes to my page and listens to my stuff and then really comes back and understands what I'm talking about. I would be lying if I say that I just make music as a hobby. I don't care if nobody listens. I just want those few people. I believe that I'm a medium for something bigger, and I'm passing a bigger message, and I want to talk to everyone. So yes, we still. I think my most watched video has like 16,000 views. But the good thing about my numbers is my engagement keeps on growing with every post that I make. As long as I release something new, the numbers I get more numbers, which is a good thing. But obviously it's not at the rate that people expect or at the rate that I would want, because I'm at the stage where everything that I sing or I rap about, I want everybody to hear, especially the new album. I want everybody to hear. So I'm going to implement new marketing tactics, because I believe that with my music, it's relatable music, it's storytelling music, and everybody can relate to it. It's only a matter of people knowing about it. I think the main problem with Do Major not being mainstream yet is because people do not know about Do Major. But the good thing that I know is rappers now know about Do Major, and I'll tell you, almost every single big mainstream rapper, those are doing, almost all of them have reached out to me at some point and say, you know what, I've heard your work, I think we should work. That means something. That means that all I need is that people access my music. But once that happens, I'm telling you, there's going to be trouble in paradise. And I'm not saying that I'm better than everybody else. I think I have a position in people's lives where I can actually be played, and it doesn't matter what content I put or what content I put out. There's going to be a time where I'm getting those numbers.
Man, that was so inspiring. And I think someone told me this. Every rapper has to have this hunger in themselves that they'll be like, I'm number one, and you should have that. And I think you have that. It's what really, like, it's what makes you special as a rapper. We want the beast in you. We want you to be hungry for success and everything. Now, the climax of this conversation is about your project, the upcoming project. Let's talk about that. The new Shebeen Rap. Wow, I don't know. I can feel it, like the way you were like posting teasers and all that stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, it's winter, but it's about to get hot, man. Like, talk to us. Can you give us a little detail about the project? You can talk about 20 minutes or just give us details so we know what we are about to be served. I don't know, man. I'm short of words about that. I'm really anticipating that because with the streak of music that you've been releasing, the few recent tracks that you've dropped, I can see fire, man. I can see like really dope music coming out, and you just dropped this collaboration with TDK. Man, you're coming on this spicy like T-Gon like type of vibe, but you were like, I don't know, man. Talk to us. What do we have to expect on the new album? Like, what's up? Like, talk to us, man.
Shebeen Rap, the second volume. Shebeen Rap Papa, the second volume. That's a very special body of work that I've been working on for quite some time. It's not just about the sound, it's also about the stories, it's also about my life. I actually got my wife on one of the tracks. That's how deep it is. It's something personal. Um, there are a couple. There are a couple tracks that are obviously it's a dual major project, so there are obviously comedy tracks that you just go and listen to and laugh and be like, this guy's crazy. But then there are also like some real stories in there. They're also insightful. Um, I take the perspective of somebody who sees everything that happens around them, and then I speak. I actually loved it when you say that you don't want to speak for yourself like the modern rapper. You speak from a perspective where you, so that everybody feels like they can connect with it. Yeah, so that's like 90% of the album. It's almost like social commentary, but it's not as commentary because I'm also part of it. I'm also living it, but I talk about it on some. I see everything that happens here. You understand, like those guys who are in the ghetto, they stay by the bridges, or those guys that know everything that goes on in that certain hood or certain area. There's always that person. I'm taking that perspective, and then I talk about these things. I talk about love, I talk about hardships, I talk about prayer, i talk about um I talk about hood gangsters. I talk about fake life. I talk about everything that is in the modern day that we see from the perspective, and then I tell it as a story. It's not like when I say a story, I don't mean literally. I'll be like, so there was this boy, he went to school. Sometimes I just take it from. You're going to hear what I'm talking about, man. It's crazy. I hope people are going to accept it as it is, because the sound is almost as. I've never heard anybody rap on those beats. It's almost not hip hop. Like somebody who is shallow minded is going to tell me this is not rap, but I'll be rapping on all of them. But the beats are very African. I would say almost. It's Shebeen music. You're gonna understand what I'm saying. I can't explain how it sounds. You're gonna have to know what it sounds. Yeah. So that's what Shebeen Rap is about. There's gonna be a couple of videos I'm shooting with my directors. There's gonna be a couple movie. I think we're also gonna shoot a movie for one of the tracks. There's gonna be a documentary. I'm gonna make sure that I exhaust every possible way to explain and to get people to be on the same train that I am on right now, as I want to tell what I'm telling.
All right, man. Sounds like something that I would really love to listen to, man. We anticipate the album. I don't know if you have already shared the dates of the release. We'll be sure to listen to it, man. And that's the thing about the sound, man. Thank you for that. Thank you for saying that, because most of these hip hop artists, they are trying to like mimic the sound that is already out there and thinking that's the international sound. The international sound is your own sound that you make quality. Look at Nigeria, what they're doing. Look at South Africa, what they're doing. They're creating their own sound and exporting it. Look at how big people like Kabza the Small are, people like Davido, like people like Burna Boy. They exported their sounds, their original sounds, and I think if you can go into that direction, you can like grow up a very big fan base. That's a really good direction to go. And the first time I had you rap, I saw you live actually. The first time I had you, it was at a rap battle at Motor Republic, and one of the battle masters was Noble Styles and a few other guys. So you were almost like you were in the finals. I don't know, you didn't like top it, but you were in the finals. And I remember telling my guys like, "Who's this dude?" Because you had this very familiar sound. Because at that time I was like, hip hop has to be like la 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 la, like bubble gum. But then you had this familiar sound. Like I was like, this is just a dance or dude rapping off of like trying to make it sound like hip hop. Like what is he doing? But then people were loving his sound. I was like, okay, let me give him a chance. Then I had your track with an R.Peels Kepa JH, I was like, damn, this dude is actually good, man. That's when I started to follow your music, and then I fell in love with Ushandi Daiwewe. Now, the point of this whole story is about you having dancehall influences in your sound. What are some of the influences that you have? Maybe they're artists, maybe it's a certain sound. What can you say? This is a fusion of sounds that have made my sound, that have made me who I am, or artists, maybe rappers, maybe singers, maybe dancehall crooners. What has influenced you into being the artist that you are right now?
Yeah, before I answer your question, bro, yeah, I just want to back what you were saying. I I totally agree, and I'm always saying that. People know that I'm always saying that. People think being an international artist means you have to rap in English, you have to sound like Nasty C, rap like an American. That's international music. That's not international music. The biggest international artist that we ever had in Zimbabwe is Oliver Mtukudzi. How many English songs that Oliver Mtukudzi have? You understand? But he's the most loved international artist that Zimbabwe ever had. Right now, it might be Japreza. People don't even know that. He might be Japreza because he's known in more countries and he can have concerts where people from other races can come and listen to his music. You understand? So being international, I'm backing you on saying being international is not singing in English rather, but just making your own music, but making it quality music. The song that is the most views on YouTube is not even an English song. It's Despacito. It's a Spanish song, and that's the most views because music is a language itself. It doesn't need words. All right. The question was that what are my inspirations? Well, to be honest, the first Zim rapper. I used to be an English rapper. I believe I can still rap in English. I think in the future I'm going to make a couple English projects just to surprise people and just to get myself out of my box because I know I've put myself in my box already. So just to escape my box a little, I'm just gonna make a couple English songs for people to understand that I can do both. But in Shona, I'm going to talk about Shebeen Rap and the sound that I'm doing right now. From the local raps, and Maskiri has to be one of the biggest influences that I've had in my life because Maskiri was the naughty boy. He's the one who started with the naughty rap. What is it like? Rapping scams, the laugh inside the rap, the greet people while you're rapping, or say what you're not supposed to say on your song and you say it on a song. That's Maskiri. Or he started all that and he gave birth to a lot of rappers. So he's one of the major influences. I grew up on Maskiri. And then there's also South African music. I listen to a lot of, but not South African hip hop. I just listen to like the Trumpies and Sweet Love, things like that. Mafiki Zolo. Those are all inspirations in how I do it. Double HP. I remember making my first Shebeen track. I wanted to sound like Double HP so bad. But honestly speaking, I do not. When I rap, I do not want to sound like anyone. I never really sit down and say, okay, I wanna sound like Nengi when he made this song. I just really listen to the flow of the beat and listen inwards how I'm supposed to talk on the beat, how I'm supposed to flow on it, how everything is supposed to come to be, and everything just comes to life when things just happen. But inspiration wise, obviously I listen to a lot of music, and then I listen to a lot of American music as well. um uh, Obviously they're not directly influential to how I sound when I rap in Shana, because I figured it's a different sound. But there are people like J. Cole, there are people like Tupac, Kanye West, Andre 3000. Those are my favorite rappers, obviously. So maybe they have an influence on the English side, because what happens with influence is you don't really notice that it's influence before you rap, but it's there, it's inborn. It's like how you talk like your father, how you talk like your mother. It just comes naturally. Yeah, so I think those are some of the inspirations that I got.
Bro, you had to go on and talk about all those rappers without talking about Kendrick Lamar. Oh my God. I always tell that to people. I always like impose Kendrick Lamar on people, man, because for me, it's like the best, man. Like, I don't know. I just relate to most of his music, but I do understand that people have different preferences and everything. And what you say there about the music and everything, so profound. I hadn't like really thought about it. Like the most viewed song in the world is like Despacito, and it's not even an English song, man. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. So before we wind this down, before we ask the simpler questions and then wrap this up, I wanted to ask something. Who is the one person that you'd want to collaborate with worldwide, no matter what they do? Like, who do you think like might complement your art best? And what can we expect from Domeja moving forward, aside from you dropping Shebeen Rap Volume 2 and other things, like maybe some other things you'd want to venture in, some other things you think that might benefit the coming generation of artists, of rappers that they might need that you didn't get? Like, what can we expect from Domeja, and what do you want the future of Zimbabwean music and Zimbabwean hip hop to look like, maybe in the next 5 to 10 to 20 years? What are some of your goals? What are some of your dreams and wishes in regards to that?
Collaborations, yeah. Obviously I would want to be on a song with Kanye West. He's my idol. I feel like he's a musical genius. And obviously I would want to be on a piece he creates, or I'll create a piece and it gets in. It's a lifelong dream, but yeah, some would say far-fetched. And then in Africa, Burna Boy. Yeah, Burna Boy is that's a crazy artist. He's very talented. In South Africa, AKA, I would want to collaborate with AKA. He's closer to home. He makes the sound that I make. His beats almost sound like the beats that I have in Shebeen Rap. I would fit perfectly in an AKA song more than a lot of other artists. And people will be like, what? But there's Questa, there's a lot of other people that you copy. I do not copy those people, but yeah, I think I would do better on an AKA song, even though it sings in English. Locally, yeah, I would have to think about that. I haven't considered. The thing is, collaborations in my space. Here I was talking as a dreamer, but now I'm talking as an artist. Collaborations are a matter of perspective and a matter of relations. I collaborate with friends. I collaborate with connection more than collaborate with somebody because they are hard. You understand? So I would see a collaboration with Uleni, or I would see a collaboration with R.Peels before I see a collaboration with any big artist in the country, before I see a collaboration with Japresa, because I do not know what Japresa is like. I don't know what my conversation with Japresa will be like. I don't know how Japresa is going to react to my music, how he's going to connect with my music. But I know how the people that I talk to, the people that I connect with, the people that I'm familiar with their energies, how they would react to my collaborations. How I locally, it's people that I know.
Man, you have taste, because Kanye West is a god, like especially on the production, man. Personally, I'm not really a big fan of Kanye's rap. Like he raps is dope, but as of late he's been focusing a lot on the production aspect, and I think he's really grown. He's like really dope, man. Like the past few years he's been putting in the work. Like he's got a good ear. Like production, easily top five, man. For me, easily top five. And you mentioned people like Burna Boy. Burna Boy for me is not the best thing that has come out of Africa in terms of as an export, as a musical export from originality and the people that he's collaborated with, the heados that he has kept, and a lot of other things, man. Burna Boy has done it, man. Is like the template of being the biggest thing in Africa, man. If you want to be the biggest thing in Africa, you've got to follow in Burna Boy's footsteps, man. He did it so effortlessly, man. He put in so much work, but at the end of the day, he's shining, man. He's shining. AKA, not much of a big fan, but I believe he's been doing a lot of good work, man. Shout out to him. And I understand the thing about working with friends. I think a lot of people say that, and I understand that because you need chemistry before you make a track, rather than be like, "Hey man, I want your verse on my album," and like, ha ha ha. It doesn't really work out. Now, before we leave again, I want to play a game with you that I play with most of my guests called Random 10. I'm gonna ask you 10 random things, and you're gonna give me an answer. To save time and to save me debating with you, we don't need explanations. You're just gonna give me these random things. So number one is gonna be, what's your favorite movie? Number two, favorite TV show or TV series? Number three, who is your favorite visual artist? Favorite color, meal, country, car brand? Who is your favorite rapper? What's your favorite album? Maybe it might be a rap album or any other musical genre. Who is your favorite producer? Let's this is the rest of the interview might not be here, but this part tells us a lot about you and what you value and what you like. So yeah, let's hear it.
All right. I like how you think about the artist. Who you don't like, you don't like. Anyways, favorite movie, Irishman or The Lord of the Rings, the greatest movie ever made on earth. TV show has to be Family Guy. Visual artist, I'm gonna take that as a videographer. I would say Dev Mayers and Mitch Uta. Color, black or blue. Meal, do I have a favorite meal? It has to be something with fish in it. My favorite country, the United States of America, because I'm brainwashed. Car brand, it's an Audi. I love German cars. My favorite rapper, this is Andre 3000. My favorite album, it has to be The Blueprint. Favorite producer, between Scott Storch and your boy Joker.
Yeah, man. Family Guy. I love that show, man. The visual artist Dave Mayers is crazy with the visuals. Mish Uta, oh, that man has got some crazy visuals too on his level, man. He's been doing a lot, especially for his own work. Whew. Color blue, definitely mine too. Meal, fish, fishy. Country, the United States, and the brainwashing thing. Yeah, I get that, because my favorite place to be is Hawaii, and I see it as a country apart from the United States. You know, it being colonized and all that stuff. Car brand, definitely Audi. I like Chevrolet. I like Chevrolet. Rapper, mine is Kendrick Lamar. But yeah, 103K is pretty dope. Outcast, Legends. Album, I would say To Be a Butterfly, but Blueprint is pretty dope. A lot of people say that. I think I have to revisit it. Producer, man, I haven't really dived into that, but I really like The Alchemist. It's really dope. Yeah. Now, before you leave, I would like you to take this opportunity. I would firstly want to thank you for taking your time to be on this podcast. I know it wasn't an easy feat. We had a lot of hurdles and all that stuff, but you pulled through. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for the humility. Thank you so much for the willingness. Thank you so much for the honesty and all that stuff. And as before you leave, you might have a word of thanks to the listeners, to your fans, to your family, to your friends, and also just like parting words as your last response on the podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me on this show, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And what I would want to say to everybody out there, my fans, don't give up. Things may seem like they are hard, but the worst that you could do is give up. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Akuna moto rubber robot. Yeah, and akuna munhu andorara mutown. Munhu uchaenda kumba. Shout out Tatenda Zimbabwe.
Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Domeja. The King of Shebeen Rap, man. If you haven't heard his music, you gotta go check it out. And he's got a new album on the way. It's definitely gonna be dope. This has been Unmastered the Podcast, where I get to chat with the contributors to the hip hop culture, the culture that we love, the culture that we live for. I've been your host, Tatenda Zimbabwe, aka TheUltraPoet, aka Ultra. Follow us on social media at The Heat Trader, on Instagram, on Facebook, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel and rate us on Apple Podcasts. Until next time, ciao.